Welcome to Culture Talk. This is the segment where we talk about culturally relevant topics, everything from books, films, and television to things that you're going to encounter in everyday conversations. And our hope is to help encourage you to step into those conversations and have something to talk about. So our guest today is Dr. Hugh Ross. Hugh, we're going to be talking about Earth Day. It's a holiday that you're plenty familiar with. You've written a lot about this topic. Now, it began almost 50 years ago to really help people become more aware of our carbon footprint and to help protect our environment a little bit. But from a Christian perspective, we might sometimes view this holiday as worshiping the creation versus worshiping the creator. So how can we have a Christian view of this holiday?
Well, go back to the oldest book of the Bible, the book of Job. 3 chapters there, chapters 37, 38, and 39, are a creation care manual. You know, God gave us this planet, and he says, I want you to occupy it till I come. Manage it in the condition I gave it to you. So we, of all people, should be ones trying to steward the environment. We also need to do it from a biblical perspective, realizing that God has stopped intervening, he's stopped creating, and the universe is subject to a law of decay. And so we need to be careful not to try to so overdo protecting the environment that we actually make it worse than otherwise it would be. Maintain it in the condition God gave it to us in the context of the laws of physics that he created.
So laws of physics, it's interesting that that would come up as a topic when we're thinking of it from a Christian perspective, but it is helpful. And when we think about creation and we think about the earth, what are some fine-tuned evidences that you see that point to a biblical creator and can help us really appreciate and have gratitude for the home that he's created for us?
You know, in the creation Psalm 104, it talks about how God packs our planet with as much life as possible, as diverse as possible. And one thing we've learned is that the number of species on planet Earth have been going up since the origin of life, hit a maximum when God created us human beings. And it's human abuse that's causing that number of species to go down and realize, you know what, God gave us all these plants and animals and we need to protect them and use them for our benefit and their benefit. But realize there is a natural extinction rate. When you try to go beyond protecting the environment, beyond the natural extinction rate, you actually raise the extinction rate. So again, take biblical wisdom to bear in managing the planet.
So you mentioned something about just protecting animals and taking good care of them. And that's such an important topic and an important point, because sometimes people who really love the environment and they're doing their best to reduce their carbon footprint, they're not really feeling like Christians are stepping into that and willing to even acknowledge that humans do play a part in the damage that we're seeing here on Earth. So if I had a friend like that who's really, environmentally conscious and trying to be careful with what they consume and how they leave the planet, how can I step into a conversation with her and show that Christians ought to at least be joining them in these causes?
God created all these species to help us and to serve and please us. So when we get rid of 1 or 2 or 1,000 of them, we're doing ourselves a disservice. God created them for us. We need to see why he created them, how they can serve us and please us, and actually take advantage of what God has given us and protect them because it's a gift that God has given us.
So what would be like a practical thing that we can do, whether it's protecting animals or cleaning up the beach or something? What would be some practical tips that you would recommend that we can step into?
Well, for example, be careful with how you design your cities. Because it could do damage to the environment. It could do damage to yourself. Typically, when you do harm to the plants and animals, you're also harming yourself. So it's even if you take a selfish perspective, it's to our own benefit to take care of these plants and animals.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. So thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add with regard to Earth Day?
Well, everything we see on the earth is there for a purpose. None of it is extraneous. None of it is wasted. And it's especially there to help us human beings to fulfill our purpose. We're not going to be able to fulfill our purpose to the degree God wants us to if we don't take advantage and protect all the resources he's given us.
Well, thank you very much for that, Hugh. And if you'd like to hear more from Dr. Hugh Ross, visit reasons.org and search 10 ways to thank God on Earth Day.